All right, so we're out here with Riley and Cassian. So I think I'm gonna try to introduce one more positional skill today. Good. At the same time, we're obviously working on having these guys hold place. So what I'm looking for, good, is a nice settled position on the place bed. And obviously as I go into feed, I want them to maintain that position. So Cassian gets excited about the food sometimes, and when you go in to feed him, he kind of pops up. So when he does that, I'm just kind of backing away. So with place, and we're going to talk about this in the program, good, as well. These guys are ahead of the game, obviously, because we've been working on this since puppy. We like to encourage what we call posture facilitated relaxation. So without saying the command DOWN or anything like that, we kind of wait for the dogs to settle on the place bed. And when they assume that posture of calm, their brain is more likely to follow. And this allows us to actually capture the act of settling and getting relaxed and calm, which is something that a lot of owners find helpful to get on cue, right? If you go out and about and, we commonly hear people struggling with their dogs being too excited or having an inappropriate amount of energy or, in the wrong mind frame. And we want the ability to be able to say like, hey, get easy. Okay. And that's something that is a little bit difficult for dogs. They don't necessarily come pre-wired of knowing how to do that on their own. So this makes that happen more, more cognizantly. So the dog starts to learn like, oh, settling and relaxing. Cassian's doing quite a bit of a show of look how relaxed I am. And actually that's something we want to watch out for. So really smart dogs will often kind of do that. He's almost like, it's hard to tell if he's just being fidgety because he's young and he's like, this is being still kind of sucks, right? But he might also be trying to push or get the treat thing going. Yeah. So he's like, oh, it's been way too long since you fed me last. So I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna shift, and I'm gonna offer behavior. I'm gonna offer behavior, which isn't actually calm, right? So I want to make sure that I let him cycle through the, shifting and offering of behaviors, which is kind of what we call being pushy or pushing. So obviously Riley's like actually truly relaxed. Good job. So you'll see she's kind of rested her chin a few times. Like she's doing really good. She's coping with what's going on here. I think Cassian's just hungry. So I might actually work Riley first and kind of put him through his paces just a little bit. And remember with place, we want to make sure that our dogs, even though so this is like reading the play, right? Place. He sees my hand in that food, in the food dish. So I want to make a girl. I want to make sure that she's reading the play. She understands I'm coming over here to let her off the bed and I'm picking up the leash. Good. But I want to make sure that does not release her from the place bed. So she's got to wait for me to actually use her release word or the clicker. And obviously, since I'm working with two dogs, I'm not going to use my clicker in this instance. Rally. Okay. I have to do that a little bit gently so that Cassian understands that it's not him that I'm saying the release to. Rally. This might be a little bit tricky at first. Rally. Good. Rally. All right. Good job. You've gotten yourself a bit tangled, haven't you? I'm going to help you out there. Hi, Rally. All right. Cassian. I'm going to help you. Bloop. Cassian, place. Good. Place. Whoa. And Riley's like a very sensitive girl, so if you are using no reward markers, she's like, oh, that was me. I'm so sorry. I'll go back to place. Good. Good. Cassian's in that lovely, like, adolescent stage where they really are pushy, pushy, pushy. If I do see a dog, like, really, really breaking, I want to make sure he doesn't have to, like, go pee. He's still a puppy, so his bladder is not the biggest. Good job, Riley. Good. Good. So I'm going to feed her here. I'm going to feed you here. Thank you. Perfect. All right, so one of the new skills we're going to talk about is healing in the partner program. Am I on camera here? Perfect. So we're going to start off. Good girl. Nice, thank you. We're going to start off with Rally in what we call basic position. So our dogs are used to this picture of seeing the front of our bodies. And so we're going to ask her to start to learn heel position. And like, again, we're just going to do heeling stationary at first, I know. So this is going to actually have her move from basic position facing us to coming around to the side of our body so that we're facing the same direction. And we're going to most likely need to spend some time just reinforcing her in this position so that she sees this new picture of like the side of our body. Lots of times, most often, dogs, when they start learning the heel position, they're often like going, wait, I don't see your face. And they kind of start to like want to creep back out to like the front of your body. So we'll kind of see where she is with that. I really am like looking for the moment where he's like really like settled into that behavior and kind of, I want him to kind of accept defeat. So this is what healing position looks like. Okay. Good. I see you over there, sir. Good. All right, so starting off with Rally in the front of our bodies. Oh boy. There he is. What a stinker. Little teenage attitude going on. Teenage mutant ninja turtle. There you go. Place. Good, sir. All right, so I'm going to take treats right to her nose. And I'm going to use a food lure. I'm going to lunge backwards on the side that I want her to be on. So I'm going to do this on the left-hand side. And I do recommend doing this while holding your leash so that you both get used to this. So leash in my right hand, food in my left. I'm going to lunge backwards on my left leg, food right to her nose. I'm going to drag her all the way behind me, flip my hand, then drag her right up to the seam of my pants. Now, if she's a little bit crooked, I can kind of take a step or restart in this case. Perfect. Because where we feed is where she's going to learn heel position to be. Good. I want to feed her a couple times here. Good. Okay. Perfect. Cassian. Place. Good. Good boy. Rally. Yes. Good job. I'm going to do one more with her. Perfect. And I do recommend using your clicker when you work on this at home. The clicker is going to really help capture this behavior. I love using the clicker when we're in the capturing phase of learning. And you'll see, good, a little snippet, good boy, on learning phases in the online learning portal. I definitely recommend checking that out because it's super important to know where you and your dog are at in the learning phase of what you're trying to do. So where she's a little bit kind of out to the side, I can turn my food luring into the outside shoulder and that will bring her in closer to me. Good. Rally, okay. Cassian. We're gonna work through that a little bit before I switch dogs. Rally, sit. Good. Rally, okay. Cassian. Good. Good. So in the partner program, we often start working the dogs around one of each other. So they're going to have to get used to hearing the dog's name and then the release. So that's just because we want to add in lots of distractions in the partner program. We want the dogs working around each other, working around other dogs, other people and stuff, and kind of getting used to that. Good. So if you have multi-dogs, which Cassian does, you might get into evolving your marker system to include the dog's name before the release word, the dog's name before the no reward marker, etc. Rally, okay. Good. We're gonna do one more of those. Hey, Rally, down. Whoops, you forgot to chew. Give you a second. Down. Good. Rally, okay. Not quite. Good. Rally. Oh, one thing about Rally is that she's a very sensitive little sweetie. We might start to see this. No, thank you. Place. Good. We might start to see this as we start to learn new things and make things a little bit more challenging. Sometimes dogs like her, who have she wants to be right. She really loves to, she's a people pleaser kind of dog. And I think not having the right answer, which is going to happen when we're doing a new behavior, when we're learning a new skill, she's not going to have the right answer, and we're going to have to kind of like fix her and give her information like, whoops, that's not it, try something else. And that can be a little bit of a bummer for a dog. If she's like right now, she's like, I don't really know what the expectation is. We're standing out here, it's a little awkward, like, what is this? I'm not sure, I'm not confident. And that's going to kind of make her, clam up. She wants to go do the thing that she knows how to do really well. So I want to keep that in mind. And for a dog like her, I'm going to want to like juice her up while I'm training and doing something new. Good boy. So I'm going to be mindful that she needs a little bit of like pep, and in between reps of doing stuff, I'm going to like do some treat chases. I want to make sure that when we're learning a new skill that I'm only doing it one or two, like 2 to 3 times before I give her a little bit of a break and do something that she's more confident with. Good girl. So I just wanted to mention that Cassian's going to be kind of the opposite side of the spectrum. He doesn't need a lot of juice in between reps. He's really eager to do the next thing, and he's really willing to try and offer like all these behaviors. So knowing how your dog is motivated and knowing how your dog kind of ticks is super important to training. Rally, place. Very good. Yeah. And I want to juice her up, but if I do, it's going to make it harder for him. So I kind of have to modulate that. Very good. So I don't even think I'm going to back tie her. So again, I want to make sure that he is not reading the play, because he obviously knows that I'm taking him off of place here. Good. Cassian, okay. Good. I'm going to go ahead and reward Riley for that as well. Nice job. Good. All right. So I'm going to do this on the left-hand side as well. If you ever get into dog sports, agility, rally obedience, anything like that, you're going to want to teach your dog to heel on the left-hand side. It's valid to teach your dog to do it on either side. Whichever side it's going to be, you're going to want the food in that hand and the leash in the opposite. So if I want him on the left-hand side, leash in my right, food on the left. I would also make sure that you practice, if you do want to teach your dog to heel on either side, I recommend having one, like the word heel mean on the left or on one side, and then have a different word like with me or over or something for the other side. Dogs very much don't. You can teach a heel on the left and then try to do it on the right. And for dogs, a lot of times it's like 2 different behaviors, even though it's the same thing, just a different side of the body. And that's just because of how their brain works. So, and the other thing I would recommend is not doing it in the same practice, training session. So if I'm going to practice teaching him to do it on the right, I'm going to only do it on the right-hand side for that training session, and then do work on left in a subsequent session. I need more caffeine today. Good girl, Rally. All right, so treats to his nose, and maybe I'll do it facing this way since we did facing the camera before. So basic position, I'm going to bring treats right to his nose, take a lunge backwards, and I'm going to flip my food as I drop food, flip my hand here and drag him right into the side of my body, and then I'm going to kind of tilt his head up. The other thing I didn't mention is, whoops, I want to keep him there if I can. Good, whoops. So this is going to have an implied, good, stay. So we want to make sure that we keep him here. Good. You can already see he's like, wait, I need to be in front of that food pouch. Good. Good. Whoops, I dropped that. Don't drop food in this exercise. It's not good. Perfect. So we're going to go back to, okay. Oh, thank you for not breaking when I said that. All right. When we use our no reward marker, we pair it with pressure until the dog gets correct again. I do recommend using food as the pressure we pair with the no reward marker at first when we're teaching the skill. So for instance, Whoops, don't drop food, Meg. We get him into heel position. It's a bit floppy. Good, good, good. All right, so he's good. And then right there, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna use food as a pressure to get him back in, but I'm not gonna feed him the food. Good. Now I'm gonna feed him the food because he's committed to the behavior again. Okay, Cassian. Good. Nice job. Skirt. Good. So final note. I feel like I'm dragging. My energy is like low. Final note is this has an implied stay. I'm not sure if I said this already, but we're using our markers with this, and this does have an implied stay. So we're going to build some duration in this behavior, and we want to work up to like several seconds, like maybe even up to a minute, where your dog can be in this position while you're periodically using your good reward marker, good, and feeding. You're going to start to variably reinforce them. So sometimes you'll say good and not feed. Sometimes you'll say good and give a piece of food, and see if you can put some space between the times that you're feeding until you can get this pretty much where we're fading the food out of it. We also want to avoid naming this exercise anything until we love it. You'll hear me say that, and I'm sure you've heard me say it in the puppy program as well. We don't name it until we love it. So until the dog is really like getting into this position, like they really know it. Good. So Cassian's going to work on, and what's going to be great about this program for him is when we fade the food out. He's very dependent on that food right now. Good. So very quickly, good. Cassian, okay. What we're going to want to do for him especially is change the pressure. So eliminate the food being the pressure that we pair with the no reward marker, and replace it with a different. I think we talked about this the other day in his first day, but we're going to start using the leash to fix him instead of food, which is going to help prevent him from making mistakes to make food appear. So we'll talk more about that. These guys are doing really great. Good job, Cassian and Riley. Yay, Riley, okay.